Good morning, dear student. In today's class, we will discuss about the earth pressure and stability of RCC retaining wall. In previous class, we have discussed about the retaining wall, what is retaining wall, where we have to use it, and how much this is important for civil engineering projects. Okay. So in this class, we will discuss the structural parameters related to retaining wall, right? So let's start the class. Earth pressure on retaining wall. First of all, if we talk about component of a retaining wall, normal retaining wall which we generally use nowadays, that is cantilever and counterfort. If we talk about cantilever, so this is a type of retaining wall. In this pattern, retaining wall is constructed. Suppose this is the original ground level and this is the height of soil what we have to retain. Okay, that much height of soil we have to retain by that particular retaining wall. That is H. And that is depth of footing for the retaining wall, which is denoted by Y. This part is called stem of retaining wall. This is back side of retaining wall. This is front side of retaining wall, and that is earth filling in back side. Okay. Here the gravels are provided, and drainage is also provided in back side at top and in front side. Okay, for the proper drainage. And at a regular interval, weep holes are also provided in the retaining wall. Okay. These are the weep holes. So that is stem and that is base of retaining wall. Base generally in base there are two parts. First one is toe and second one is heel. So the portion of the base in front side of the retaining wall is called toe slab, and the part of the base at back side of retaining wall is called heel slab, right? So these are the components. At the time of design, we will design stem and base, right? For the cantilever, and for the counterfort, we will also design the counterfort. Okay. So here we have to consider, we will consider how much type of pressure by the earth will act on that particular retaining wall. Okay. So if we have filled the soil in back side of that retaining wall, that soil will exist a pressure on the stem in horizontal direction, right? And that in that portion also there is a soil, and that will also exist a pressure on that direction. Okay. So the pressure by the backfill soil on the stem is called active earth pressure, and that is denoted by P at a height of capital H. Okay. And the pressure by the soil, which is equal to depth of footing existed on the stem, that is called passive earth pressure, and that is denoted by PP. So here we can analyze the active earth pressure is the disturbing pressure which will create disturbance on the retaining wall, and passive earth pressure is a stabilizing pressure, resistive pressure, which will stabilize the structure. So it will always act in opposite direction to the active earth pressure, right? So if we talk about the type of earth pressure, on retaining wall. So there are two type of pressure we will consider. First one is active earth pressure, that is PA, and second one is passive earth pressure, that is PP. And the concept of calculation of both the pressure is used by the Rankine theory. So we can find the value of this pressure with the help of Rankine theory, and the Rankine theory says if height of soil is h, then the pressure by that particular soil on the stem will be equal to, if we talk about active earth pressure, the active earth pressure will be equal to Ka gamma h. The pressure will act according to the height from top to bottom. If we move from top to bottom, the magnitude of pressure will increase because at the top the H will be 0 and the bottom the H will be maximum. So the magnitude of pressure by the backfill soil on the stem on the retaining wall will be maximum at the bottom. Okay, so these values are constant, but this is a variable value. So how much the value of H will vary, that much will be the active earth pressure. In the same sense, also we can calculate passive earth pressure PP, and that will be equal to Kp, gamma, and Y, the depth of soil due to which the passive earth pressure will act on retaining wall. Right? So by these formula we can calculate the magnitude of active earth pressure and passive earth pressure. Here the important term is Ka and Kp. These are called coefficient of earth pressure. Coefficient of active earth pressure and Kp is coefficient of passive earth pressure. And gamma is soil density, where gamma is weight density of soil, and K, if we talk about only K, okay, Ka is coefficient of active earth pressure. And we will learn how to calculate these coefficients. And Kp is coefficient of passive earth pressure. Right? And here H is height of backfilled soil and Y is depth of footing. Height of backfilled soil and Y is depth of footing. So, so these are the very important parameters formula what we have to remember. Next, how to calculate these coefficients, because we will have height and we will have density of soil, at which kind of soil we are constructing our retaining wall. These two parameters we can get easily. And how to calculate these coefficients? So to calculate the coefficient of earth pressure for active and passive both, there are two conditions. Coefficients. If we talk about coefficients, so we can do the backfilling in two patterns. Suppose this is our retaining wall. This is the actual ground level, and this is the level at up to which we have filled the back soil, right? So we can fill the back soil in two patterns. First one is horizontal. We can fill the soil in horizontal pattern, and the second one is inclined, yeah, sloping pattern. We can also fill the soil in sloping pattern, right? That is horizontal fill. That is sloping filling. Slope filling and horizontal filling. That is first condition, that is second condition. So if we talk about horizontal filling, first of all, for horizontal back soil filling, K will be equal to 1 minus sine phi divided by 1 plus sin phi, and Kp will be equal to 1 plus sin phi divided by 1 minus sin phi. So if we have done the horizontal back soil filling, at that situation we can calculate the coefficient of earth pressure by using that formula. Here the phi is a new term, so where phi is angle of internal friction, or we can also call it angle of repose, angle of for soil. Okay, so we will also have this value for different kind of soil, the value of phi. So with the use of the value of phi, angle of internal friction or angle of repose, we can calculate the earth pressure coefficient very easily, right? So that is the first category when we have done the horizontal back filling of soil. And if we use the sloping filling, we have filled the soil in backside in a sloping pattern. At that situation, the coefficient of earth pressure can be calculated. Here, the angle of the sloping from the horizontal is called beta or theta. We can nominate in any pattern. Okay. So if the sloping angle is beta, then the coefficient can be calculated. Ka will be equal to cos beta minus under root cos square beta minus cos square phi divided by cos beta plus under root cos square beta minus cos square phi. So active earth pressure can be calculated with the help of that formula. Here beta is the sloping angle and phi is the internal frictional angle for the soil, and Kp will be equal to cos beta plus under root cos square beta minus cos square phi divided by cos beta minus under root cos square beta minus cos square phi. So with the help of these two formula, we can calculate the active and passive coefficient earth pressure for the sloping filling. And these can be derived with the help of Rankine theory. Okay, what we have already studied in geotech engineering or foundation engineering, right? So after calculating the coefficient of earth pressure, we can easily calculate the value of earth pressure on retaining wall. It may be active earth pressure and it may be passive earth pressure. Okay. Then stability of retaining wall. Okay. So generally two type of stability we have to ensure in our retaining wall. Two type of stability criteria we have to ensure for our retaining wall. First one is overturning about toe, and second one is sliding. So what are these two type of stability criteria? We can understand here. Suppose this is our retaining wall. This is base of retaining wall. Okay. That is the original ground level, and that is the soil filling. Okay. Here, this is the height of depth of foundation, and that is height of soil back filling. This is the level of soil back filling. So how the retaining wall will overturn about the toe and how will it slide? Due to this earth filling or soil filling in backside, this soil which is filled in backside will exist a pressure on the stem, and that will vary from top to bottom in triangular form. Suppose this is height of back filling. So if we draw the soil pressure pattern, the pressure by the soil in at the top will be 0, and we will if we move in downward, the pressure will increase in a linear way. Okay, in that pattern, the pressure will be maximum at the bottom because the maximum value of H will be at the bottom. Okay, and the variation of pressure will be Ka gamma H in the form of Ka gamma H, and due to these pressure, a resultant force will act in horizontal or lateral direction, which will be equal to the area of that triangle and will act at the CG of the triangle, which will be at 1/3 height from the base. So this will be the resultant horizontal thrust. Okay, that will be the resultant horizontal thrust, which will act on stem of retaining wall. And due to this horizontal thrust, the retaining wall may overturn about the toe. About that point, due to this horizontal thrust, the retaining wall may overturn. Okay, so we have to ensure the stability against the overturning effect due to this horizontal thrust, and how it will slide due to this horizontal thrust. The overall retaining wall may slide in that vertical, that horizontal direction, in the direction of horizontal thrust. That will be called sliding. So how to resist, how to stabilize the structure with these two effects, we will learn here. Okay. So we will consider one by one. First of all, we will talk about the overturning effect of retaining wall about the toe. So if we consider, if we talk about overturning about toe, so the retaining wall can be overturned about the toe, and the overturning moment will be equal to the moment applied by the horizontal thrust about the toe. That will be equal to the horizontal thrust and the distance of horizontal thrust from the toe. That will be equal to h by 3, the 1/3 of the height. That particular distance will create the overturning moment. And that overturning effect will be stabilized by the moment existed or applied by the self weight of the soil and self weight of the retaining wall. These two downward self weight will exist a moment about the toe, which will stabilize the overturning effect of the retaining wall. So if let MO is overturning moment about toe due to horizontal pressure or thrust, and MS is stabilizing moment due to self weight of soil and retaining wall. At that condition, if we analyze these two values, so MO is the working value and MS is a stabilizing moment. That means this is the design value, yeah, factor value, yeah, ultimate value. So if we calculate the factor of safety against the overturning, so factor of safety against overturning, F1 will be, so what will be the factor of safety? The factor of safety will be equal to the design value divided by working value. So here design value is MS and working value is MO. But the code IS 456-2000 recommend that the characteristic load will be considered only 0.9 times. That means only 90% chance will be there to occur the characteristic load on our structure. So as per IS 456 2000 only 0.9 times characteristic load will occur. So the factor of safety F1 will be equal to 0.9 ms divided by MO, and that value should be greater than or equal to 1.4. It may be equal to 1.4 or it should be greater than 1.4. So by calculating the F1, we can ensure the stability against the overturning. The second stability criteria is sliding. So how we can ensure the stability against the sliding? The second one is sliding in horizontal direction. So our overall retaining wall may slide in horizontal direction due to the horizontal thrust, and the resistance offered against the horizontal sliding will be offered by the frictional force between the soil below the base or below the retaining wall and the base. The frictional force which will act between the base or concrete and between the soil will resist the sliding of the retaining wall. Okay. So if pH is a horizontal thrust is horizontal or lateral thrust which will slide the retaining wall in horizontal direction, and mu is coefficient of friction between soil below and base concrete. So the frictional force will be the resisting force here. So the frictional force Fr will be equal to mu into summation W. Summation W is total vertical force, total vertical downward force. So that will be the resisting or frictional force. Okay. Here the pH will be the disturbing or working value, and Fr will be the design or ultimate value. So the factor of safety against sliding will be equal to, that will be denoted by F2. F2 will be equal to Fr, factored value divided by working value, pH. And Fr will be equal to mu summation W divided by pH. Again, IS 456 and 2000 recommend that the only 0.9 times or only 90% chance will be there when the characteristic load will occur in structure. As per IS 456 2000, only 0.9 times characteristic load will occur. So the factor of safety against the sliding will be equal to, F2 will be equal to 0.9 mu summation W divided by pH, and that value should also be greater than or equal to 1.4. If F2 is less than 1.4, at that time we have to provide shear key to ensure more stability against the sliding. And what is shear key? Shear key is a wall-like stem which is provided in downside, bottom side, like that. This is shear key wall, and by providing this shear key wall, extra passive pressure will act on that shear key, which will ensure the more stability against the sliding. So by calculating these values, and we can ensure, we can check the stability criteria against overturning and sliding for the retaining wall, right? Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.